Awaken Beauties, finally, it's here. The truth to empower women to true inner beauty through a healthy mind and inner biology. I am your hostess, Cassandra Keogh, a 20-year salon owner, organic beauty product formulator, positive mind management, and clinical hypnotherapist. And I am here to help you stay sane, get sleep, and bring your sexy back. Sponsored by evoquebeauty.com. evoquebeauty.com. Now, let's get to it. Alrighty, welcome to this deep dive around money and wealth consciousness. Now, whatever terminology, whatever filter that arises in your bodily sensations, or maybe up in that beautiful brain of yours, just kind of let them sway and float down the stream for just a little bit. Now, my passion around women, worth, and wealth is so deep. It's so deep, and it's really interesting at this intersection of this through line that we have entire ecosystem of entrepreneuristas and girl boss era that has eroded, which I celebrate. And sometimes different words like patriarchy or feminism can be brought into the picture, but I also want to set that aside. It's very interesting that this, girl boss era, could it be to blame for ruining this woman-centric revolution or productization? When women were girl bosses, they were allowed to rise as business people, right? Until they were torn back down a few years later. And was this perhaps the major reckoning in what we sometimes position as capitalism? Or what is this large moment where we return to seriously questioning the legitimacy of women in leadership positions? Now, of course, I personally wholeheartedly believe that we should be calling out abusive and inappropriate behavior, but it's very clear that we haven't really called out the abusive and inappropriate behavior that men in startup land exhibit in equal measure. So instead, we now look at women in leadership positions more critically than ever, making it more common to critique and question any products that they sell or build, and especially in a women-to-women ecosystem. And so what I've observed is that women sometimes find it controversial to build up other women. And we know that women can exhibit internalized, gain states of status by disassociating with their gender, meaning quote unquote toxic masculinity, that tends to kind of creep in based on survival mechanisms that is, quite frankly, appropriate because that's the ecosystem that we've been set into. And so it makes sense that women are constantly operating with a scarcity mindset due to the historical tokenization of their roles in both corporate as well as prospering in even school systems. But I think that this is all the more reason we really need to build products and immersion experiences that really empower women to be completely themselves. Because quite frankly, my friends, if we don't, my question is, who will? So if you're a person that is in a position of power, I really believe in this note of rising tides lifts all boats. And the subconscious bias we all hold detracts from that most important point of all, that we fundamentally need products, experiences, and ecosystems defined differently. And we live in a world where women die 32% more after surgery than men. Over 1 billion women are still unbanked. And only 2% of VC funding goes to founders that are women. And 60% of women report sexual harassment or social or different situations or abuse on dating platforms. Now, with all that said, I also don't believe that building products for women is also a siloed altruistic endeavor, right? My opportunity here for all of us to see is our beliefs around money, beliefs how women can help each other come back into community and build each other up, as well as their businesses. And really, my position here is to say, how can I help? How can I help you? And I think that it all comes back to wealth consciousness, that we degender this situation. And I love the quote by Wallace Wattles, which is, there is a science of getting rich, and it is an exact science like algebra or arithmetic. There are certain laws which govern the process of acquiring riches. And once these laws are learned and obeyed by anyone, that person will get rich with mathematical certainty. So my point to this is there's a game. And when it comes to liberation financially, it's understanding your zone of genius, how to play the game, and how to stay in the game. So if we really understand that at its premise, and we think about gamification and plugging in our purpose, our passion, and our true nature, money is really an illusion. It's a shadow of something else. So let's dive in. Now, the first step to having wealth is to know what it is. And few people know what really it is in and of itself. So I ask the question, what is wealth? What causes it? What causes the start of making money and this whole symbol of wealth, then moving deeper into what is the foundation of fiat money? Where did it begin? What was their true reasoning for creating even the stock exchange? Is it a rigged system? It doesn't really matter because money is not real. Money is merely a legal tender. It's a form of exchange. We use it to exchange value. And I often use the wealth formula, meaning wealth equals value times leverage. The more value you bring through your gifts, the more you can leverage in the game that you play. And that is what creates the steep of the water that runs down it and the speed in which the water runs down that hill that creates the velocity of value, meaning money. So money represents value. Now, money is the body, right? It's the embodiment of value. It is physical representation of value that rises and falls in ourselves and within us. Not within things, not outside of us, but within us. And for without us, what can the value of money bring? What can value of a thing such as a car be to us? Frankly, nothing, at least not to us. In other words, it is we, the observers, that place value in the things. But this value is really value in us. We give value to the material things. The material things have no money value in themselves. We actually make that decision. And then the market reacts accordingly. So money is really just the external physical representation of a particular section of our internal value within us and within you. So that is why a house or a block shares value of maybe 1 million today can fall in valuation of $500,000 tomorrow when fear is introduced into the heart of the market and into the hearts of those involved. So the fear kills a proportion and a huge portion of the internal values of the participants, and that is reflected by the paper money, the body of the value. So here is something else. Now, physical money does not even represent money in full. It cannot reasonably do that. So by some estimates, and there's varies here if we look at, nation to nation, only as little as 4% of the money in the banks exist as paper cash. So imagine how much cotton, linen, metal in the world would need so as to make all of that money for everyone to put it into their bank account. Now imagine how much space it would take to store all this money in paper form. So if you were to stack only 1 million US $1 bills, it would weigh 1 ton and would be 361 feet high. Now, neither does money exist as gold reserves anymore either. This is for exactly the same reason. As we ran out of reasonably, the ability to keep the gold standard in the 1970s, it's really coming down to then the question, what does it exist as? The money that we are always talking about. So it is one massive illusion, right? And going back to the conversation around value, it is all just numbers written on paper and computer storage devices and assigned to people and entities such as companies, investments, or, banks, more accurately, further, more records. So to put it in another way, for every 100 or its equivalent in any other currency, only about $4 exist as printed money on a note or a coin, while remaining $96 exists as numbers written on paper, on computers in banks and businesses and other entities. So the only reason the system does not collapse is that we all believe in it. So the last time people stopped believing in it in a large enough extent was just before the Great Depression, when large numbers of people rushed to their banks to withdraw their money and found that they couldn't get all of it. This is not what caused the Great Depression, mind you, but it's a large way that accelerated it. So again, money's not real. Something else is. Money is just the shadow of that other something. Now, the first step to wealth is to know what money really is, or more accurately, what it represents, which we just reviewed. So learn not to look at money most of the time, right? In that context, as you will see here, that it's very rare in a day that you should ever even look at money as you know it today. The cash, the bank accounts, the costs, etc. This merely is a shadow and not the real thing. So looking at that shadow, the physical money, as you will soon see, is most of the time very unwise and unhealthy for you and your finances. So instead of looking at this in that perspective, look at the values within you and within the people and the flowing and the exchange of this value between people. This is what I call true capitalism. And our internal value is what creates that money. Money is the shadow of our internal value. So develop the internal value in yourself and in others, and your external money and wealth will correspondingly rise automatically without fail, my friends. So money represents an aspect of a person's internal value, but that does not mean that it represents a person's entire internal value. That is where this becomes really important, that it's not about self-worth. Money only represents an aspect of that internal value that pertains to wealth. You cannot, therefore, say that a wealthy person has a higher self-worth and value than a poor person. But you can correctly say that in matters that relate and pertain to money, the wealthy person has a higher internal value in that aspect of value, or that person chooses to exercise a higher proportion of that value. So this section of internal value that reflects on the outside as money when exercised is called wealth consciousness. It is available to all people equally, men and women, and can be developed by and within other people equally. Like everything else that is important to our being alive, such as air, wealth consciousness is free to all. But you can choose to develop it or not develop it, or to exercise it or not exercise it. And at any time, you're making a choice, and you can change your choice, and nothing outside of you can stop you. You require nothing outside of yourself to increase your value, your wealth consciousness, and therefore your money. Now, all you need is what is within you right now. This is what I want to bring home. You may have forgotten it, but it is there within you right now in full measure. You will now remember it. So bring it in through the space around you. Start to feel the differentiation on that natural born point of origin value that you brought into this world. And the first step is to really always remember that money is not real, and that it is really just a shadow of something else. And here's another secret. Wealth consciousness is simply the expansion of your consciousness and your awareness into the wealthy parts of yourself. This is why all that you need to increase your wealth consciousness is already within you. You are already wealthy, but you have been taught to choose to not experience your wealth. This insight changes everything, my friend. Like the wealthy people, you can now know how to and choose to start experiencing the wealth within you. Now, you have more wealth capacity also and capability within you than you would experience, honestly, in a lifetime. You don't need to worry that you reached your limit becoming wealthy in any way, or that you've ran out of time, or you only have so much time left, like society and governance wants to put you under. Once you turn 65, now you can be happy and go and relax. Completely not true. Neither do you need to know how to convert wealth consciousness into paper cash money either. As you'll see, it will happen automatically. It is an internal shift. All you need to do is expand your wealth consciousness, understand your natural zone of genius, what comes instinctive to you, to take action and to exercise it, to act on it, to be it. And the situations and the opportunities for the equivalent conversion energetically into cash money will start to present themselves automatically. You become the vortex. None of the extremely wealthy people today could have, at the time when they were not wealthy, possibly predicted and planned the exact sequence of events that would lead them into their wealth. And some, frankly, are not deserving of it. You know, I tell women, I tell my family members, I tell my friends, what is it that you love? Because what you love to create is a part of your value system. And this is what's so important. A lot of things around you that you hold so real are so really not the real either. I mean, if we look at money, if we look at a lot of things that we hold sacred, it's oftentimes out of the fear of letting something go. And so you're about to embark on a beautiful, empowering, and liberating journey that will really show you exactly what your world is in a way that you have never looked at before. And as the creator economy starts to come upon us, we have never actually been at a pinnacle, at a through line, at an intersection where wealth consciousness and where the Aquarian age, which is upon us, is going to help people open their eyes and free their wings to really, truly soar. Right? You get to look at the under the hood of your life. And you're really about to learn and have the opportunities to move forward and how to customize your world to your liking. You're about to obtain wealth consciousness. And once you do, avoiding success and wealth will become very, very difficult for you. It's a different elevated. It's not harder, it's higher. And so once you have wealth consciousness, it starts to grow. It will be very difficult for you not to have the success and the wealth. So feel that starting to come into your body of the possibility. Success and wealth will follow you, my friend, automatically once you get into flow. You will learn more about the game than you ever had before. And once you start to know where to put your time and energy, life really starts to truly feel amazing. And that's when you start then to invite your flow partners and how to understand how the whole cycle value, the value cycle in itself is a regenerative one. Things have to be birthed, have to be then magnified, then have to slow down to then multiply and then to systemize. And so really it's the steps to wealth and happiness by tapping into your flow. And that's what I love to offer women, is to really understand their true nature and purpose, which depletes the ADHD, depletes the overwhelm, depletes the fear. And once you start to level up in those 7 layers of wealth consciousness, I'll share in another audio, you start to understand how easy this can become without any limits. You become timeless of your truth, about who you really are, what you're doing here, what the game is of life, and what it's all about. So here you have the opportunity to stake that stake in the ground and to really create a foundation. And taking that first simplified look around quantum physics and seeing how it shows up in our wealth consciousness. And then after that, you can never look back at the world in the same way. The world that is transitioning right now, even so in an AI or a digital age, it still is going to unveil the way that the creator economy and how individuals can work together in a way that we never have before. So welcome to the quantum energy of wealth consciousness, the vital ingredient of understanding that our past is just a shadow of belief system and filters, and that we have new opportunities that set the goals and the plan aligned with our values, and that we can have countless coincidences and opportunities that can join all the dots together in ways that we never have predicted. Right? So I'm so excited for you. I invite you into this new ecosystem of internal wealth into your own soul. There is no proving of worth, but you already hold all the wealth consciousness that you could ever in this lifetime and more. Now it's just tapping into that frequency and abiding in that frequency and committing to the conduct of the harmony of that frequency. And you will find that you will then start to invite that community in. You start to create the foundation and structures to flow, and you become the equation of wealth equals value times leverage naturally. So with that said, all my love, all my light, and we'll see you on the other side. Well, hello, Awaken Beauty. Thank you so much for joining the show today. Were you inspired? Please leave a comment or your own personal aha moment so others can capture exactly what you did. Also, please like and subscribe wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. And if you're interested in high quality natural products for your hair, skin, and wellness, including organic CBD, please visit evoquebeauty.com. Again, that is evoquebeauty.com, evoquebeauty.com. And until next time, darling, stay sane, get sleep, and bring your sexy back.